Welcome, everybody. I'd love to start us off with a reading. I found a friend was passing this around this morning. It's called Pie with Spirits by Mary Wellmeyer. It's from her book, Admire the Moon. This is the very pumpkin pie my grandmother made, almost. She was a modern woman who knew how to follow recipes, receipts, she called them, because they had been received. She had a rule for pie crust that was constant until from time to time it changed. I had that rule in turn and it has moved on just a bit from where she left it. This is my special shared moment with her, departed a quarter century. As I work, I am all ages of myself, and the thought of my tall son comes to join us, though he hardly knew her. He makes pies with wild abandon, sculpting them for material and artistry. He has received pie somehow at the level of soul. The three of us make pie together, preheating the oven, cutting butter into flour, adding water, flouring a board, cutting the crust. To honor her, I follow the recipe. To honor him, I change just one thing. To honor myself, I take my time and smile. There are some ways we know that Thanksgiving Day, this holiday, is very different for some of us this year. And there is some ways, as this poem reminds us, that it can be somewhat so the same. This is a day where our memories go to family, chosen and by blood, living, departed, and those to come. Recipes, traditions, habits that we hold dear to this day connect us to those who've come before, those who surround our tables every year, and those who will soon. Even this one, it's possible because we tell stories about those who would be around our tables this year, and the memories that we bring alive, bring them into our homes. And it is important to acknowledge on this day that this is also a day of mourning. This day has been called a National Day of Mourning by our Indigenous neighbors long before this year, when we are mourning differently and similarly. This is a day of mourning the myth of the first Thanksgiving, the myth that represents not accurate history, but a story constructed in order to defend colonialism that has been underway on these lands for at least 400 years. So this is a day of mourning and a day of Thanksgiving. And whether it is more of one or the other for you, or whether it is mixed in you, or whether you are resisting the mourning of this day, I know you are strong enough to hold the complexity of these dual truths. And in that holding, to let them both transform you. Many of us are grieving so much this year. And just like the complexity of holding mourning and Thanksgiving, we can hold space in that grief for gratitude. So friends, I'm going to invite you to post something in the chat that you are grateful for. I'm going to, because we're recording this and we'll be sending it out, I'm going to read them out loud. So keep your responses short. What is one word or one thing that represents something you are thankful or grateful for this year? I won't read your names attached to it, but I will read your words out loud. Puppies. UUCT. Thankful for love and community, caring and thoughtful community. Thankful for Sydney the dog. Thankful for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, I think, pretty much. Beauty, community. Thankful for a return to sanity in our politics. Thankful for land and blue skies and blue Arizona. For music, ancestors, family, food made with love. For all this and so much more, we are so thankful. And in this spirit, will you join me now in a spirit of meditation, prayer, contemplation, whatever is your own style? Spirit of life and of love, that which holds us in our grieving and in our celebrating. You who is witness to our raucous laughter and our tender tears, be with us now as we turn our hearts and minds and bodies towards gratitude, which is interwoven this year with grief and loss, with joy and memory, woven into a tapestry that represents the beauty and the sorrow of this day, this time, a tapestry of thanksgiving and of mourning. May we find some strength to wrap ourselves in this tapestry, no matter how complex it is, and to let ourselves be held there, held by forces of gratitude and grief and joy, knowing that they are all ours. And also know that we are held by the ever-present force of love that persists far beyond this moment and this day. May we remember that gratitude does not come from outside of us, but arises from the depths of our being, from the smiles, the stories, the silences that draw us closer to another being. In the days and weeks to come, may the gratitude we plant today grow. May it grow in our gratitude for ourselves. May it grow in our appreciations for those we love. And may it grow in our thankfulness for those strangers, those who we barely know. Friends, this is moving from a prayer into an invitation to use this day of gratitude to deepen into a weekly, daily practice of gratitude. My hope is that in the coming week and month and year, you will find time to express gratitude for yourself, so important, and gratitude for those you love more than you already do, and gratitude for those strangers who you barely know. You might speak this gratitude out loud at moments, or sometimes it might come through a more quiet expression, a smile, a knowing look, a simple and meaning-filled thank you. Know that you are whole and holy, and I, for one, am grateful for you. I am grateful for you and the uniqueness that you bring and the self you are becoming. Go in knowing that whether you are grieving or celebrating,
the lesbian girls,
mourning or remembering, you are loved just as you are. This ends our very short blessing. I know your stomachs are growling. And there are going to be some folks staying on here and forming community and being with one another for as long as that being together lasts. So if you are wanting to stay on, I think Chris and Jesse are kind of unofficial hosts.